Hello and welcome to the First Baptist Monroe Student Ministry YouTube channel. I am here today with a message about something relevant to literally everyone in the world, and that is money. So a lot of us are probably among the most fortunate in the world if we even have the ability to purchase anything that we want. Just going to the gas station and being able to pick up a pack of candy probably makes you one of the richest people in the world. 10% of the entire world's population is currently living on less than $2 a day. That's 1 in 10 people on the literal entire planet who are living off of what we would spend on a gas station drink. And so keeping that in mind, realizing that there are people who die from hunger when there are some of us who have only been hungry for maybe 30 minutes to 2 hours at a time. Keeping all of that in mind, us as Christians, we have to not be cool with that. Like, we have to realize that if we're in a position where we have been blessed, that we are then called to be a blessing to others. And so we're going to read a passage from 1 Timothy chapter 6 about a godly view of wealth. If you have been blessed, then what do you do with it? And how do you, if you don't have wealth, what do you do then? So just all about money. So listen with me as we read 1 Timothy chapter 6, verses 6 through 10. But godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into the world, and we can take nothing out of it. But if we have food and clothing, we will be content with that. Those who want to get rich fall into temptation and a trap, into many foolish and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Some people, eager for money, have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. So as we look through this chapter, we or these couple verses, we realize that a lot of times the great gain that we are searching for is completely tied to finances. We think that the greatest gain we can make here on this earth is making $1 million, or finding a job that allows us to move up a ladder, or being able to have everything that we want and have this whole financial stability where you kind of live in this happy little bubble. But what it tells us in verse 6, that the great gain that we're really searching for is godliness with contentment, meaning that we are striving to live like God and get to the place where we are completely content exactly where we are. Realizing that nothing that we have on this earth is going to go forward with us anyway. None of the riches we store here are going to go with us when we go to heaven. The things that are going to go there are the things that we do to actually serve God. But then in verses 9 and 10, it actually warns us that not only should we be content with what we have, but that money itself can turn into an evil force in our lives. It's not that money itself is evil, but when we love money and are chasing money and making that kind of like our biggest goal, we're setting ourselves up not only to fall away from the faith, but to partake in a lot of evil things, because people are greedy and people will do a lot of things for money, which is part of why it's so dangerous. And so listen with me as we read verses 11 through 14, as God gives us the instructions of, okay, we've got this problem with money, so now what do we do instead? How do we as humans who are naturally drawn to money, how do we kind of combat those desires? And this is what it says to do. It says, "But you, man of God, flee from all of this. Pursue righteousness, godliness, faith, love, endurance, and gentleness. Fight the good fight of faith. Take hold of the eternal life to which you were called when you made your good confession in the presence of many witnesses." So that was verses 11 and 12 in 1 Timothy chapter 6. And so instead of pursuing money, instead of chasing all of the latest trends and always wanting more and always being unsatisfied with whatever is in your bank account, it says instead, pursue righteousness, godliness, faith, love, endurance, and gentleness, and fight the good fight of faith. So many of us are chasing the wrong things, and then we wonder why we're not content. We wonder why we're never happy when we're constantly chasing money. And it's because money is never going to fill the cracks in your heart that you're trying to put all this stuff, all the latest technology, all the latest, coolest, whatever. None of that is ever going to fix what is broken inside of you. You're never going to be content just because you have a lot of money. Money is never going to satisfy your deepest human needs. But when you're pursuing righteousness and godliness and love and faith, those are the things that are going to bring your life true contentment. Those are going to be the things that are giving you what you're searching for, and something as fleeting as money. We have to shift our focus from being so worldly and centered on all of these material possessions and all of what the world can offer us, and instead turn around and think, what can I change inside of me so that I can offer the world something that's better than my bank account? And so what I want to leave us with today is for us to truly think about, am I content? If everything that I had today, it was all I ever had, would I be happy with that? Or even more so, if everything I had was stripped away except my food and my clothing, like it says in verse 8, would I be content? Our contentment has to come from something so much deeper and so much more grounded than just our money. Our contentment has to come from an inner peace, knowing that God is going to give us everything that we need. And for those of us who have been given not just everything that we need, but likely everything that we also want, we have to realize that that puts us in a place of great privilege. And to whom those to whom much has been given, much is also required. We can't sit around in our riches and with our abundance of stuff and with our abundance of these just blessings that God gave us. We can't just sit with that while there are people dying of hunger, while there are people even in our own communities that are suffering from their poverty. We have to do something about it. So Christians, I'm calling you to step up. I'm calling you to generosity. I'm calling you even more so to contentment, to realize that it's not about the money, but it's about your heart, and it is about glorifying God. That is the greatest gain that we can ever have in this life. So thank you for watching. Hopefully it's a good reminder for you. I know it is for me. And I look forward to seeing you in our future videos. Bye.